Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It is a Sunday morning, as always, a coffee kind of morning. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm here today to talk about this amazing box set. Just received it a couple of days ago. No, this is not an unboxing. I've already opened it. Haven't listened to the whole thing because there's a lot to listen to, but I'm really impressed by it. This is the Complete Columbia Albums collection by the Byrds. You got 11 albums, 13 CDs, so a ton to listen to. From their debut in 1965 to their 11th album in 1971. So I'll go quickly through. I'll try and do as quickly as possible because, again, there's a lot to listen to. So the Byrds, amazing LA-based rock band, combination of jangle rock and psychedelic rock and folk rock, some country halfway through their career. This is, again, the Complete Columbia Albums collection, released in 2011. Amazing little booklet included as well, which is nice. And of course, led by James Roger McGuinn. And that confused me in the beginning because in the song listings, or the personnel listings in the earlier albums, he's known as Jim McGuinn. And then later on, he dropped the Jim and became Roger McGuinn. So it's, again, just what happens. Roger is actually his middle name. But amazing talent. You know, that 12-string Rickenbacker sound that he has. Of course, you had Gene Clark. David Crosby was in the beginning as well. Chris Hillman on bass and Michael Clark on drums. Harmonies of the yin-yang. It's just amazing stuff. So here's this here. Again, nice size booklet. No hype sticker, though, with this one. Opens up like such. Okay. Which is okay. Comes with a nice fair-sized booklet here with some cool photos. Each song and what it represents and what was happening within each song. I'm not going to go through it for time here, but some cool photos. And I have to say, kudos to Bob Dylan. As much as I'm not a huge fan of Bob Dylan, I respect his work, because if it wasn't for Bob Dylan, I don't think the Byrds would be around, because they covered a ton of his songs, as well as as other bands had. But an amazing talent. And again, if it wasn't for the Byrds covering his tracks, as the debut says, Mr. Tambourine Man, which is a big song by Bob Dylan. This is their debut album. The only thing I don't like about these is the writings, very small. Okay. It is on that beautiful Columbia label. Okay. Which is cool. They just slide in like such. You got Mr. Tambourine Man, 1965 release, debut album by the Byrds. I guess that's 12-string Rickenbacker sound. Awesome harmonies as well. You got James Roger McGuinn on lead guitar and vocals, Gene Clark on rhythm guitar and vocals, David Crosby on rhythm guitar and vocals, Chris Hillman on bass, and Michael Clark on drums. They do 4 Dylan tracks: Mr. Tambourine Man, Spanish Harlem, Incident, All I Really Want to Do, and Chimes of Freedom on here. So great debut album. Okay. Then you got the second album, Turn. Another great album, again on that Columbia label. Turn. Second album, as I said, 1965 release. The big hit, Turn. Also, Set You Free This Time, and It Won't Be Long. Another Dylan track. And the times are changing. So again, wasn't for Bob Dylan, these guys wouldn't have anything to write about. All stereo, which is cool. These sound fantastic so far. This is their third album, 1966, Fifth Dimension. And when I say, every time I say Fifth Dimension, I think of the band, the Fifth Dimension, but not really much to do with the band, but that's what I think about when I hear the Fifth Dimension, or Fifth Dimension. Third album by the band, 1966 release. The main songwriter, Gene Clark, left the band, which was a big blow to the band, and that meant that Roger McGuinn and David Crosby had to step up and become the main songwriters for the band. No Dylan tracks on this one, which is surprising, but you got 8 Miles High with their fantastic song, Fifth Dimension, or 5D, Fifth Dimension, and Mr. Spaceman. I love that cover as well. So that's a great album. And then you've got their fourth album, Younger Than Yesterday. Okay. Again, keeping on with that Columbia label. Very psychedelic looking. David Crosby down here. Younger Than Yesterday, 1967 release, fourth album by the band. So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star is the big hit off of this one. My Back Pages, Have You Seen Her Face? Chris Hellman starts to sing on the album on a couple of the tracks, which kind of maybe gives Roger McGuinn and David Crosby a bit of a break. And they also do another cover by Dylan, My Back Page, on this one. Then you got the Notorious Byrd Brothers, which is the fifth album, 1968 release. Again, that Columbia stereo label. There's the back cover there. So the Notorious Byrd Brothers, David Crosby was fired at this time, halfway through the recording sessions, and Michael Clark, the drummer, left also halfway through. Gene Clark came back for a time, but I think he left after about 3 weeks. So still a lot of tension in the band. This album may be one of their most progressive albums as well. They do a couple of Carole King covers on this one as well, going back, and Wasn't Born to Follow. So I've yet to listen to this one, but I'm curious to hear it, because pretty much it's a threesome at this point. Yeah, it's as you can see, the fourth is represented by a horse here, but I'm curious to listen to that one. This next one, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. This is a double album. Okay. So you've got 2 CDs. I'm always cautious of these styles of CD openings where you got to pull it through. Always a chance of rippage. But yeah. Cool cover. This is definitely their country rock album. It's a 6th album by the band, 1968 release. Graham Parsons joins the band, which brings his country influence into the band. You Ain't Going Nowhere, I'm a Pilgrim. Again, down to a 4-piece band at this point. You got Roger McGuinn on guitar, banjo, and vocals. Chris Hillman on bass and mandolin. Graham Parsons on guitar, piano, organ, and vocals, multi-instrumentalist. And Kevin Kelly on drums. New drummer for the band. But love the cover. Again, more of a country album at this point. Then you got Dr. Byrds and Mr. Hyde, which is a cool cover. 7th album by the band, 1969 release. Okay. Columbia label. New lineup, but they're still using Graham Parsons' lyrics on some of the tracks, as he's not in the band anymore, but he's still influenced by the band, or they're influenced by him. 7th album, as I said, Another new lineup. You got Clarence White on guitar, um, Gene Parsons on drums, John York on bass, and of course Roger McGuinn on guitar and vocals. He dropped the Jim at this point. McGuinn sings lead on every track, and again, this Wheels on Fire. I think yes, this Wheels on Fire is another Dylan cover, but it's also co-written by Rick Danko from the band as well. So big lineup change again, but curious to hear this one. Then you've got number 8, the Ballad of Easy Rider. Okay. Easy Rider, of course, the big 60s movie hit. The Ballad of Easy Rider is the title track off the album, or sorry, off the movie. And of course, written by Bob Dylan and Roger McGuinn. Jesus is Just All Right, which later would be a big hit for the Doobie Brothers, is on here as well. I'm curious to hear their version, the Byrds' version of Jesus is Just All Right, because it's a great track. Doobie Brothers really rock it up, and I'm really pleased with that one. So I'm curious to hear this one. But yeah, this is Ballad of Easy Rider, the 8th studio album, 1969 release. Then you got Untitled, which is a concert album, 1970 release. Again, a double album. Again, that Columbia label still on both. Again, that inner CD opening that you have to be careful with. But this is a New York based concert featuring Skip Batten on bass, replacing John York. Recorded live in New York at a couple of venues. Of course, some of their big hits, Who Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, Mr. Tambourine Man, Mr. Spaceman, 8 Miles High, as well as some other great tracks. But yeah, the guys are looking like seasoned rock and rollers at this point. But yeah. And then 10th album, Birdmaniacs. Kind of a psychedelic, weird, spacey kind of cover on this one. This is a gatefold. It's not a double album. It's a gatefold. And again, that CD opening here. This is their 1971 release, their 10th studio album. Not their most successful album. They retired from touring. They just got off a big tour. Again, still lots of tensions in the band. But still overall, it didn't reach that high in the charts as well. But overall, it's a Byrds album, so it's got to be good. Glory, Glory, Pale Blue, Jamaica, Say You Will. And that's a song by Jackson Browne as well. So they do a Jackson Browne cover on this one. But curious to hear this one. And finally, their 11th studio album. This is further along, 1971 release. Just long-haired hippies at this point. Recorded in London, England. You got Tiffany Queen further along. Antique Sally, and So Fine, again on that Columbia label. Yeah, it's cool looking dudes at this point. So there you have it, guys. There's 11 great albums by this fantastic band, the Byrds. I've got a couple of their greatest hits on vinyl. I don't have a lot of their stuff on vinyl, so I'm really pleased to have this. It's a decent packaged and priced album, box set as well, and nicely packaged, all by Sony Music. But there you have it. 13 CDs, 11 albums, some great, fantastic music. by some great, fantastic artists. And check it out. And if you do, I hope you enjoy. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Love you all. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye now.